Welcome everybody and thank you for attending the meeting. Have we any apologies?
Councillors Messon, Waterman and Baden Evans.
Thank you. We're writing them down. We need to appoint a deputy chair for the committee 2025-26. Got any nomination? Steve?
I'd like to propose last year's deputy chair as Steve Francis.
Is anybody seconding? Kevin? Are there any other nominations? Can't see any. Should we take a vote on that? All those in favour? Thank you.
Abstention.
Any abstentions? You're not voting for yourself?
No.
Okay. One abstention. Thank you everybody for that nomination and vote. Declarations of interest. Anybody got any declarations of interest relevant to the agenda? Can't see any. No hands. I'll take that as nobody. To confirm and sign the minutes of the last committee meeting on the 25th of March. Has anybody got anything in terms of accuracy? Councillor Hogben?
The last meeting was on the 29th of April. That's a typo, but the minutes show the correct dates.
Right, so the 29th of April.
Yes.
So Dennis is moving. Anybody seconding? Kevin? All those in favour, as nobody's raised any points of accuracy, thank you. Any against? Any abstentions? Councillor Graham is abstaining. Public participation. Can't see any members of the public. Have you had any questions submitted? No. So I assume then that there's no questions from the public. So item 6 is to review the year to date financial position and material variances for Crewe Town Council. Do you want to lead us up on that, Steve?
Sure, yeah, no problem. The long and short is there's not been a lot of years so far, because the report goes month end to month end. Being it's the start of June, the month end for May hasn't happened yet. So this is just April. There are no material variances at this stage. There are no surprises. At that early stage, quite understandably, as it would be expected to be. We haven't had time to get it wrong yet.
Anybody got any questions or comments?
With the system that we run about an annual business delivery plan, smooths the process, and we've already had sight of and had a decision of how the money will be spent and when, so it makes us fairly robust in that setting. But again, we're accounting for April at the moment anyway, so it's not a lot of space for them to do there.
Steve?
Well, I think the question.
Thank you. Just very kind of you.
It says in the conclusions, it says due to increasing delivery and productivity, the administration of accounts has increased. You can see that in the tables at the front. Are there any risks in relation to that picture? It's very interesting that the number of, well, ignoring 2020, 2021 because it was the end of the COVID time, been a significant increase in the number of invoices and so forth. Is there any particular, would you like to comment on that?
I'm happy to comment. It's indicative of the increase in breadth of the services that are going forward and the productivity of colleagues and the team and what they do. It produces a result of more stuff happens, more stuff is paid for. As long and short, the services cost money, and we're hitting the budgets as we should be doing. It's, I believe, it's an indication of efficiency and productivity. There is a risk in the sense of administering the finances done by me. That's unusual in an organisation of this scale. So bear that in mind. You do have in your staffing structure room for accounts, persons, but I sort of haven't appointed anyone or any aspect of that because I find it for the way I look better to have the full oversight of the finances myself. That's not normal, but it's also not a risk. You go through audit accordingly, it's all nice and positive. But it's just a view of that.
Yeah, thanks for that.
I think the story in general is positive. It's about we set a budget and we deliver it, and that creates productivity. And that's a good thing. But there is a minor risk in there that we operate slightly unusually. We have very little financial support. Finance support is most of them by me.
That that's sort of an issue that the RFO is responsible for that.
That's me, yeah.
Yeah. Members we need to be aware of as the scope of the work of this council probably increases over time, but that will be something that's discussed. Well, it will be discussed under the devolution, not the county devolution, but the devolution from Cheshire East.
Yeah.
That's something that actually happens.
At times I do find it a challenge. So it just needs to be borne in mind. If productivity were to increase, there will be a point which I would have to come to. So I think it's time to instigate that part of the staffing structure that we haven't used yet. Because I haven't yet all the capacity I might have to give it attention it needs.
Thank you. This says to review, so we don't need a vote. So really, it's just to note. Everybody happy to note that? Thank you. So item 7 is to consider and approve payments to date for the recommendation to council between the 1st of the 4th, 2025, and the 30th of the 4th, 2025, to the value of £66,875.18. Has anybody any questions or comments?
We operate a fully transparent system. Every payment we make is published on the line. This is part of that. And part of transparency is also reported to all members in this way. And as the F&G committee, it's for you to make any recommendations or otherwise to council, showing that that's been followed through as our principle of intent.
Where did the 18p come from?
Well, 18 different sources.
Lots of things at 99p.
Perhaps just one question, which there's an item here. Excuse me, PWLB works loan book.
Yeah.
Is that a final payment of a loan?
One more to go.
One more
So
to go.
we paid 6 monthly, and the next one will be in September, and that'll be the end of the Police Road loan.
Which was the purchase of this
The
project.
30.
10 years ago, the purchase of this
Yeah.
building, well, a bit less than 10 years then.
Yeah.
This building was done with the Public Works Loan Board loan, which is the government loan system, which is cheaper than a normal commercial loan, and follow the process, and the loan will effectively mature and be paid off in September. You can pay off today, but there's no benefit in doing that, but let it happen naturally.
Keep the money.
Well, it's making a difference. It's not a lot of money difference in it. For the sake of
Yeah.
messing around, it may as well follow it through to September. Let it take its natural course to the end.
We won't save any interest payments by doing it.
No, now it's too late. So it's not really. It's not a lot anyway.
No.
But in terms of the time and administration to then deal with Public Works loan boards for a prepayment, it has negative benefit.
It doesn't seem like it was that long ago. You feel like I mean,
See, that's nostalgia for you, Dennis, isn't it?
now it's just getting old.
Right, so I think we've had questions. Is anybody willing to? Says we've got to approve it. So is anybody willing to propose? Sally, anybody willing to second? Dawn, All those in favour that this goes to council? Thank you very much. So that's carried. 8 is to review governance documents, but as far as I know, there are no governance documents attached.
We're finally caught up with her. It's taken nearly 5 years. But the process of the purpose of this item on the agenda is standing. It's right to view all governance documents and policies and anything to do with how we run the organisation is live and should be reviewed, not just left to gather dust digitally somewhere. And that's the process. So we've gone round and round the cycle enough times that actually we're up to date. Enjoy the moment because it won't last long. The next meeting there will be policies to review, I guarantee it. But there were none to put forward to this meeting. They were all up to date. So it's where we're at. It's a nice thing. I don't think I've ever got to this point before. So that's that really. It's nice to know the fact that you've reviewed all the governance policies thoroughly, and now we go through the cycle again for the next 5 years.
Thank you. So we've got nothing to approve there. So we all are complete. So we go on to item 9, which is to receive an update information report relating to civic functions. And I think, Sally, do you want to make any comments?
No, just there's lots of stuff listed, isn't there?
Yes. And you've only been mayor
Yes.
for a few weeks.
It's
So-
fun. Been limited how I enjoyed my year and thank the staff for all their support. I couldn't have done it, had such a lovely time as I had without them.
Thank you.
So that will go in the minutes. Dennis?
I've been asked to thank the mayor on behalf of the Rotary Club crew for her attendance, and she made quite an impression. I don't know how. I'm not saying any more.
Okay, Dennis. So you've had that given. That's just to note. So we've got the information report relating to the website communications. Pete, do you want to take us through that?
Yeah, I can do. This committee, as a corporate central committee, looks at things such as civic things, mayoralty, and also communications. This report comes to you every time, showing the same upward trend, which is positive. We benefit from your situation. We do have generally positive engagement through our different media communications. We're coming to a very busy period. We've just had things going on, VE80 and crazy races, that sort of thing. That will influence the net set figures. But equally, what used to be called Operation Summer and all the things, we some more events that we've added to the town centre for the summer as well, will hopefully influence this and help with engagement. The figures are really positive with that. If you follow on, keep following on, the figures are always going up. It's a nice thing.
Has anybody got any questions or comments? It's a very comprehensive report, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just that bounces out on it. Right, can I take that as that we are willing to receive that? Thank you.
Yes.
And then number 11 is to note the receipt of community infrastructure levy funds. So would you like to tell us about this?
Yeah, you've been informed in the past that we received what was quite frankly a surprising silk proportion, which was delivered to us. And now we have another one associated with the same development on Mass, which is the Stoney Road development, Stoney Farm. And an additional just over £8,500 has been allocated to us from a particular aspect of that development on application 234278. We have these funds now sat in an earmark reserve to the value of 19,279.26p, and that will be defrayed following consultation and engagement. The delivery of which was previously associated with first funds is likely to be targeted towards the delivery of allotment sites that are on site but not prepped and ready. The additional funds are there to be considered what they might be, and further enhancements to allotment site, but something else. I don't think that's determined. Realistically, it's up to members to give some direction and the community to be engaged and finesse those ideas. At this time, I'm just letting you know that some money landed in the bank in April that we weren't expecting.
Right, anybody got any comments?
Yeah, well, but when is the developer going to apply? So about a formal transfer of sites. Any idea?
Without a reply, I can't tell you when they'll reply. Sorry, I'm not trying vague on that. We haven't contacted them. It's at this time we're not. There's no significant risk, so we can be ready. Is what we can be.
When you say so are we in a position to actually start consultation ahead of such time as the transfer takes place?
It's certainly an option. I'd be nervous without. If we ask people what they want, and they say they want, the ultimate site to have the best path possible, let's say, and then we don't do it because they don't transfer in time. I think it's a little bit of a risk, isn't it? Why do you bother asking us if you're not going to do it? So I prefer to be in, I prefer to have the asset under our sort of control before we ask people what they want us to do with something we don't own. That makes sense.
That's sensible. One thing Gloria seems to me is there are just over 3 years to allocate those funds. What if the transfer doesn't take place for 3 years?
Then we'll have to allocate something else. But I think in the coming 12 months we'll move from. I wouldn't be too worried. But the next, if it's still in the same position 12 months, we'd have to just go to the public and say, how would you like to use these funds?
Yeah. I'm not something that's nothing to do with that particular site.
I would advise it's done somewhere in that area of the town because it's associated with that development. But it doesn't technically have to be anywhere in the town. But it seems.
So what it basically means is, in total is already then £19,000 held in funds, upon which we could consult any time we choose that.
Yeah,
and amongst them sort of so to let residents know that it's expected. One of the options, or one of them is expected land transfer to use by as an allotment. But that's still to be confirmed or whatever. We can still consult them and ask them what they'd like to do.
Certainly can.
Then it might say that they all want spend the whole lot on the allotments and getting it ready and paths or whatever you can get for that amount of money, which is probably limited. Not able to fence it off.
It's already fenced, thank you.
Also, not be able to put some pavers.
Yeah, the idea would be it needs a little bit of parking. It needs a site building, a site shed. And then some setting out and pattern.
That probably needs
a pipe
to park or something. Yeah, that's thing to.
But it might be the community just wants a community orchard, so a load of fruit trees. I don't want to predetermine it, but at this time we hold no assets in that area, so I would just hold up a little bit longer before it gets to risky times, and that would be my suggestion. Unless members of mine can do something else.
It's an opportunity to do something really impactful, isn't it? Like a participatory budgeting event where you get the community really engaged in actually choosing what you want to do. With that money and feeling empowered, and also then. Especially if it's equipment or something, respectful about what, if it's a community orchard, more respectful about it because they made the decision to have it.
It could be all sorts of things. It occurs to me. I think what's Simon Reeves touring Scandinavia, very interesting. particularly interesting was the visit taken made to Denmark, and mentioned they were talking about wind farms, wind turbines and stuff like that. But it basically said, unlike in this country, in Denmark, these wind turbines, amongst which is the biggest in the world, that's the height of the Eiffel Tower, but see no protests. The reason, and one of the reasons, no protests and no NIMBY stuff, was the Danish approach of community ownership. So there are communities who actually own their wind turbines. That's just an example. And it produces 60% of their income, 60% of their energy needs. But it's the community ownership, community engagement, which is very interesting. And the community ownership there, it could be or whatever it is. But it would need to be I'd suggest it needs to be whatever it finishes up being, is something that people in the community can use and maintain. Not just some sort of council facility. Their facility, that'd be rather an interesting exercise in itself.
And it's darker longer in Denmark than it is here.
Well, there is that.
Right, okay. So we receiving it, we're putting it with the rest in the earmark reserve until such time as the allotments are transferred to us, which hopefully will be full. We need to spend money.
The site's pretty much built out. Slowly moved themselves off site and assume, so they'll be very close. I think that they might perceive it as a low priority from the thing that they've got to do, so that's why we get less response from my home.
Right, okay. Well, we can't do anything else apart from put that in the earmark reserve for when we get the ground into our possession, and then we can consult with the local people as to what they should do with that. So that leads us to item 12, which is to note the proposed date of the next meeting, which is the 9th of September.